Hello and welcome to What the Faux Travel Podcast with Nick and Amy. This is a mini episode about travelling the world in a camper van.
Hello guys, welcome along to this mini episode. Thanks for joining us. And speaking of joining us, right now we are joined by Arthur and Kolja. Hello.
Hi. Hello.
I was really stressing about getting your name, well, especially Kolja, getting the name right, because previously on the show I think I've called you Kolja, Kolja.
Kolja, yes.
So yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Please introduce yourselves, like where you're from, how do you know each other?
My name is Kolja. I'm from Germany and I'm traveling with Arthur, my boyfriend, hopefully all over the world, right now all over South America, and we know each other from Leipzig, where we both worked and met each other.
And I'm Arthur, I'm Brazilian, and I used to live in Germany where I met Kolja, and now we are traveling the world. And now with Trudy, that's this car, a little bit old, a little bit crazy, that we are living in.
Nice. So yeah, today we're talking about living in a camper van. So how long have you been doing this for?
Well, we started in the middle of January, I would say.
So how many months has that been? We're in
3, 4. It's so
April
hard.
now. I'm trying to remember what month
Yeah.
it is.
I think it's the 1st of May. Yeah, it's the 1st of May.
Yeah, it's the
now.
1st of May.
Yeah,
That's
there
true.
we go. Time flies when you're travelling the world.
It really does.
The very cool thing is we are recording this podcast right now in your, what's the right word? Combi van, campervan,
Motorhome.
motorhome.
Motorhome is a little bit fancy, I think,
Yeah.
for what it is right now.
but people are seeming to call it motorhome.
Yeah, and it's a very cool studio to be recording in right now. This is very good. Can you guys just kind of describe a little bit the surroundings, describe this place?
So you need to imagine a really old car. It's a Combi 88 that was completely destroyed when we bought, and we're trying to turn it into a home. So with a little bit of painting and love, everything's possible.
And with the help of Arthur's mom and family.
My family kind of got really invested into it. So it's a little bit, a lot of people working on it, not just us. But we're trying to build a little bit of home inside. So we create a new roof, a new ceiling here, and adapted the sink, a bed, and even cut an old mattress and put it in the right format to be able to sleep here inside. It doesn't look as bad as it sounds. It's kind of cute, I need to say. I really like this car.
Did you say it was your uncle that's the mechanic?
Yeah, my uncle was like the guy that when we decided let's travel, let's buy an old car and transform into a home. Part of my family was a little bit like, what the fuck you're doing? It's crazy. And my uncle was like, yeah, let's do it. It's a good idea. You can bring it here home and we can do it. And he had all the tools that we need to do it. So that makes it really easy for us.
Nice. So yeah, you described it a little bit. So this ceiling, it's like a wooden effect, a bit like lino. Would you call it lino? What is it?
Probably. It's actually cheap plastic, but it looks like wood.
Yeah,
so
wood
that was what we were going for.
And so you said you cut this. So me and Nick are currently sitting on your bed, on your mattress, and you cut it, and your mum sewed it so that it all worked together.
Yeah, because in the end it was just the foam that was left of it, so we wouldn't want to sleep on the foam of the mattress, right? So his mom sewed like
kind of like the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have surfaces here. You've got a table where we've got our recording equipment sat on. You've also got outdoor furniture and like a lean-to kind of tent so you can sit in the shade and so you can park anywhere and just have lunch or a bottle of wine or anything like that. So yeah, for sure, already I can see the appeal of it.
And I think the thing I'm most impressed with is your water system. Can you explain that, please?
We created a system that is by
Gravity. It works with gravity.
it's just like some tubes of PVC on top of the car. Like it looks not much, but you can storage 8 liters of water on top, and then it like literally made a hole on the wall of the car and put a tube through it to come to the sink. And until now, it's working pretty well.
Yeah. But of course you don't have the pressure, from home. It's just dripping a little bit, but actually it's fine. Just to clean the dishes and everything, it's completely okay.
What normally Kolja do?
Yeah.
I'm not
That's
a
your
really,
job, is it?
It's definitely my job. But when it comes to describing the van, one main thing that we tried out yesterday is, of course, the rooftop. So we can chill on the top of the car, which is pretty nice, especially in nice surrounding areas like the desert on the mountains. You can just chill and
Or
see
even
the
here.
sunset.
So just to explain where we are, so we're actually sitting by the sea right now in Paracas. I always forget where we are. So we're in Paracas, and like we can see the sea. There's actually people going past on a boat. They may be fishermen, and there's a desert in the background with some low mountains. It looks really pretty, and like you said, you can sit on the top and relax.
Yeah, it's a great setting. And if anyone doesn't know, Paracas, Peru, that's where we are right now. But should we get into it? Should we ask you guys first? The first question, really, why? Why are you doing this?
That's a good question. I don't particularly know. At first, it all started out us being in Uruguay and wanting to go back to Arthur's family in Santa Catarina, which is also in the south of Brazil, but a little bit more up. So we needed to go like 1,000 kilometers, I think. And we checked out how much it is to rent a car. And apparently that's a lot. So we thought, well,
So renting a car is more expensive than renting a camper van?
it's not more expensive than buying a camper van, but it's close. So I think it was like maybe 700 euros for 2 weeks. And I mean, this car we bought for, I think, like 920. So
is that in euros?
In euros.
In euros.
Yes. So that was when we actually thought about it. And then, as it happens sometimes, coincidence happened. And
Yeah, I think it was a little bit like we talked about in the morning. Oh, maybe we could buy a car and do all of that. And we were like, sounds super far from reality. On the same day, a friend of mine that I don't have much contact with her, she suddenly wrote me like, oh, I have friends that they are traveling in a Combi and they're crossing Uruguay now. And I was like, whoa, we were talking about doing that exactly this morning. So let's meet these people and check how this kind of life works and if we could do the same. And then in the same night, we managed to meet one other couple that had a pretty similar van like that. This one is blue, by the way, but they have a red one. And then we got completely inspired and decided to do the same.
yeah.
It seems like you're meeting a lot of people that are doing similar things. You told us the other day you met pretty much the same couple as you. One of them was Brazilian and one of them was German.
Exactly. That's true. Yeah, because like there's apparently a community surrounding combis, and like if you see a combi parking next to you or near you, you just go there and be like, hey, I'm Kolja, what's up? Hey friend. Yeah, totally. And then you spend the day together. Like honestly, that's how it works. It's crazy.
And it's always a little bit like, oh, let's stop near and check how people did they on one. Like, how it works with your water system, or how we manage to wash the things inside, and to always exchange a little bit of experience and a lot of tips.
Yeah.
So that I think that was the main thing about to find this community, that sometimes we ask, oh, it's possible to go there with the Combi, or it's not possible, or it's safe.
Like Arthur said, it's a car from 1988, and it's very old. It's very weak, but still, like the couple you just mentioned we met, they went through the Amazonas over like 5,000 meters of Andes to go to Cusco.
Wow.
And it was possible. And that's just like, if Arthur would have told me like, okay, come, let's do that, I would be like, not with this car, are you crazy?
Yeah.
But just to meet people who are doing it, and just by trial and error, pretty much, right? That's amazing. And that's really cool. That's what's elevating the traveling a little bit.
So you've chosen this life, but have you ever travelled together kind of the normal way, you know, through hostels and all of that? Have you done that together?
Yeah, at least a little bit. We did Croatia for 2 weeks and Montenegro also for 2 weeks, I think. And in Croatia, we actually like had a tent and we were wild camping on islands there. It was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nice. But sometimes we also have been to hostels.
But when we really started this project about like have travel around the world, that was August last year, and we kind of started as normal backpackers. Like we've been to some place in Brazil, and then to Argentina and Paraguay and Uruguay, like traveling by bus. And one of the things that really made us decide for for the car after that was there was a strike in Argentina. We could not enter the country, and then everything got a little bit late. Like all the Airbnb that I had booked before was late, and need to double pay. And then we were a little bit, when we talk about the car, I was okay. Maybe if you have a car and you always have a place where you need to sleep. You don't need to deal with this problem sometimes that when something get late, it's a domino effect. Like it's going one after the other one.
Yeah. Because we loved Buenos Aires, and we actually ended up spending 4 days there instead of 6, I think, because of that strike, and because we couldn't enter and the buses weren't going.
Yeah, so now you are in charge of your own destiny.
Exactly.
You've got complete freedom, absolutely. So I just want to go back a little bit. So we spoke about how much it cost to buy. It was like 900 euros, so best part of 1,000 euros. But then once you had it, how much did you have to spend on it to actually get it roadworthy, ready for the adventure?
So I would say we spent pretty much exactly what we spent in the beginning, again at the mechanics, because he redid the whole motor basically.
The main thing it is we needed to make this car work well, and may not look really nice for outside, but the motor and all the engineering of it should work really well. So we spend most part of it on mechanic first, and then to create the car was more 2,000, I think.
Yeah, around that.
But we also had a lot of things like that we just took from my family, like, oh, you have that here, and like taking things for my grandparents and my uncle and my mom. Like I was like make a cleaning on everybody's garage, taking things that could fit here.
Mm-hmm. And that's just kind of like interiors, not
Interior.
Not like engines and things from people's cars.
No. But for example, just the wood was pretty expensive. Like the rooftop wood is, I think, 2 centimeter. It was like close to 80 euros actually.
Really?
So, yeah. And inside here, I think we had like 3 pallets of wood.
Yeah, because we decided to use like boat wood, because like outside it's always a little bit humid, and here also we have a sink inside and you don't know where exactly we're going. So we needed to have like this super light, resistant and waterproof thing. So that was one of the most expensive things that we put it inside too.
And then just little stuff. It's like furnishing like a very, very small apartment.
Even like the curtains, because they're so small and they've got to fit like... Were they already here, or did you have to...
Arthur's mom made them for us.
Wow, so she's very good at sewing.
Yes. This place has had a woman's touch. Everywhere can benefit from a woman's touch.
Definitely, definitely.
So we have a question from Instagram, one of our listeners, Frosty89. They said, you've kind of answered this already, but they asked, did you buy the vehicle in South America?
Yeah, I think as a European, it's not even possible to buy a vehicle in South America. So I personally was very lucky to be in love with a Brazilian. And that way we were able to buy one because Arthur is Brazilian. I think if you research, there is a way how to buy a vehicle in Chile. You just need a sponsor for it. That's how...
Like a local person?
A local person. But apparently if you go to a nice hostel... Like it's just one signature you need. So they may do that for you. So there is a possibility, but if I remember correctly, and it's been a long time since I researched that, I think if you have a car, a Chilean car, you are only allowed to take it out of Chile for 90 or 180 days a year. So it definitely could not have been this trip that we are doing with a Chilean car.
Oh, right. That sounds more difficult than I thought, because I guess you could, if you really wanted to, buy it in Europe, and then obviously it's expensive, but you'd ship it over if you wanted to travel South America.
Funnily enough, we met a lot of people who did that, and it's around 3,000 euros to ship your car.
Whoa, so more than what you spent to buy it and fix it up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Wow.
So basically, get a Brazilian boyfriend.
Basically that. It has perks.
Have you ever thought about that, Amy?
Plenty of times.
Me too.
Let's talk about something that's super important. What is her name?
She's called Trudy.
And where did the name come from?
We kind of needed a name that would work in Portuguese and in German. So because we have Instagram and YouTube accounts for both countries. And then we thought about calling her Emma because of Emma Watson. We thought like strong woman, But when you saw it like so old, so fragile, it's like, okay, it doesn't look like Emma. Maybe let's find one name that's a little bit more, one old lady name. And then Trudy came up, like Kolja's idea.
I thought with Trudy, it's like a lady who used to be very pretty, but the best days are behind her. And she's getting a little bit, I don't know.
I get that. When I look at this van, I can see it used to be beautiful. I get that. So again, it's something that we started to talk about the pros and cons of, the fact that you're driving a vehicle like this. You have the freedom, you're in charge of your own destiny, but versus normal travel, hostels and buses, is this way more expensive?
I think it's pretty similar. I think maybe a tiny bit more expensive. If you just count the gasoline. If you count like the starting cost, it's definitely more expensive. Apart from that, I mean, the perks are that you can go everywhere you want to. Yeah.
It's a little bit like we are having a breakfast really in front of the sea, as we described it before, and that could be easy peasy 5 stars hotel breakfast here.
That's true.
Like you always have like these amazing scenarios. Like we will be able to sleep on the Atacama Desert. We'll be able to sleep on the Salar of Uyuni in Bolivia. Like places that you normally would pay a lot to find a place. Like we would always find a place a little bit far and take a bus, go there, enjoy for some hours and return. So in the end, if you like count the gasoline and the amount of money that you are saving in hostels and the amount of money that you are saving in tours, for example, too, it's kind of same.
True.
Because normally without a car we would like pay a bus to go somewhere and pay extra and like with a group, and with Rudy you just decided, oh, let's go there, and sometimes you decide let's go and stay there and have a little bit more full experience.
Yeah, and the thing with normal travel that we're finding quite annoying is that even if you do get a bus somewhere, that only takes you to the terminal. So then you have to get an Uber or a taxi just to get that last few minutes, which can sometimes be as much as the bus here in South America.
Absolutely, yeah. That can be the last final leg of the trip can be the more expensive and the more annoying part. So you guys are door to door, or door to ocean, or door to salt flats. Yeah, amazing.
Definitely. But the downside of that is, of course, that you actually need to drive. So in a bus, you can work, you can chill, you can listen to a nice podcast, maybe.
What the Faux Travel podcast.
But if you're driving, you need to concentrate. You need to be present, and you cannot like doze off. Even like the person who is not driving, he needs to navigate. He needs to like pay attention on the road as well.
And there's always the risk of breaking someplace and not be able to move forward, and that's a constantly a little bit of fear. Like sometimes we're in the middle, like, okay, the next gas station is 100 kilometers from here, we don't really have enough gas, or if something happens here, we have no way how to find a way how to go out.
Because other than in Europe, sometimes you don't have gas stations for hundreds of kilometers.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's no sign like this is the last gas station, take some petrol. No, it's a surprise.
We started to talk about pros and cons, and then I'll quickly ask you this question. Then Amy has a very important question, which is something very close to her heart. So yeah, for me, when we hire a car, it's different to owning your own vehicle. When we hire a car, I love the freedom, but also I don't like the responsibility. I don't like thinking, oh, if something goes wrong with the car, we've got to pay for it. I don't like having to park it somewhere, and then I'm worried about it being parked somewhere. But that's when you're hiring. It's different when you own it. So yeah, can you talk a bit more about what you, in your opinion, the pros and cons? So yeah, what are some of the bad and good things about doing what you're doing?
About this risk, I'm not really afraid about our car, but I'm a little bit afraid of the other cars, because if someone hits Trudy, or if we touch something, it's a lot of scratches all around, so it doesn't make that big deal. But I'm always a little bit afraid of the damage that I can cause to the others, because I'm not the best driver in the world. Kolja, it's a little bit better than I on it. Yeah, I think that's one of the cons. But the pros, I think we already talked before.
Yeah, I think exactly what Arthur said is, like, if we are scratching a BMW around here, our travel is over. Like, the world trip ends here now. Yeah, so that's always fear that's traveling with you. One big pro that we haven't talked about yet is, of course, we are owning this car. That means in the end of our South America leg of the tour, we are hopefully being
Touch
able to
wood.
sell it. Yeah, and hopefully get a lot of money back that we put into it.
We are definitely going to ask you about that at the end, because I know you've got different opinions to each other about that situation. But what Nick was saying, something that is close to my heart, is showering. When I travel, I don't care if I get a bad night's sleep or sleep somewhere bad, I just need to shower. So what's the shower situation here?
When we were traveling to Argentina and Chile, that was like pretty easy because in Brazil too, in all gas stations you have like showers. So we thought in the beginning when we made in Brazil, it would be easy.
Hot showers with like Head and Shoulders everywhere, sponsored by Head and Shoulders.
Oh,
It's
so they
amazing.
actually have shampoo and everything there.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
And
like
is it free, or do you have to pay a cost to get
in Argentina, it's for free in all of Argentina. So if you want to travel to Ushuaia or to Patagonia or something, do it in Argentina. But in Chile, you have to pay around like £1, I would say, like €1.20.
Since we entered into Bolivia and Peru, the situation has been a little bit harder. So we're always like searching in one app called Overlander, who showed us where you can find the next shower, where you can find the next gas station, or a safe place to park. And it has been a little bit more difficult. Sometimes we need to just boil some water here inside and try to shower outside in a really old-fashioned way.
Yeah, a bucket. So what was that app again? The name of the app that you use?
It's Overlander.
Overlander. And yeah, that just tells you, like you said, gas stations, showers, safe places to camp
Exactly.
for the night.
It shows you some, because you showed us it the other day, it shows you other things as well, right?
It shows you a lot of stuff. It shows you like nice places to take pictures, for example. It tells you a little bit about places at points, but it's like the users.
The users drop the pins. And,
Exactly, and
so it's
write
kind of
stuff
like,
about this.
Like you guys would be helping us if we then used
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think is great. It's again about this community that you find on van life. We also find on this kind of app, like people saying like, "Hey, come here and don't forget to visit that," or "Hey, we had no time to stay on this place, but that's a great place to spend the night if you are stopping around here."
Yeah.
And we are always trying to contribute with that too. Like when we see like great places and say, "Oh, it's safe to park." For example, this place that we are here now, it's not in Overlander, and after that we can just put it there. Oh, it's a great place for you to sleep here.
Or a good place to record a podcast.
Yes, that's what we'd be interested in. So yeah, this community you said, because you mentioned about when you physically see people, it's like you're already friends because you have this thing in common. But there is an online community. Where can people find that?
Definitely on Facebook. There are lots of groups on Facebook. On YouTube, there's a big community around Combi Life. That's, I think, maybe one of the biggest channels. About a British guy actually, traveling from, I think, Chile up to Alaska over years. Crazy.
All right, is this a good point to stop and play our road trip themed game?
Yes, I think so. So we're going to play the license plate game with you both.
Yeah, I think it differs in different countries, but are you familiar with the license plate game?
I don't think so.
You've never heard of the
Neither.
license plate game? Ever? Really?
Maybe it's just a thing from like English-speaking countries, because I know they do it in the USA, we do it in England.
So yeah, this is just one of the games when you're on a long journey, you want to play a game to keep yourselves entertained. You
Okay.
might be doing it in the Campervan from now on. You know I Spy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a game similar to that.
Yeah, so you look out for other people's license plate, and normally, in England anyway, but I think it differs around the world. In England, the license plate always starts and ends with a letter. So you have to then think of a word that starts and ends with those same letters.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Now, to make it a bit more interesting, a bit more international, we already have some license plates ready, because actually there are some we can see right near us, but I have 2 license plates from the UK, 1 from Brazil, and 1 from Germany. It's you guys against each other.
Oh, okay.
So we'll show you the license plate, and it's the first one who can come up with a word. Okay.
Nice.
But to make it more international, depending on what type of license plate it is, so if it's the Brazilian one, you have to come up with the Brazilian word.
Oh,
If it's
Perfect.
a German one, you have to come up with the German word, and then obviously with the English as well. Now, that may be easier for you, Arthur, because you speak German and Brazilian. But Kolja, you don't speak full Portuguese, do
No.
you?
I understand un pouquinho, but not a lot more.
Let's hope you get a P and an O, so you can say pouquinho.
That would be very nice.
Okay.
Nick, if you could do that, please.
Okay, so are we going to start with the English license plate first?
We are. And first of all, Amy hasn't seen this yet. I want you to read, because it's quite a funny one. I want you to read what this number plate says.
Okay. Yeah, but that will give away the letters.
No, but then, yeah, they have to know the letters in order to spell a word.
I don't even know. Well, what, just the second bit?
No, read the whole thing. You?
I don't get what the first bit is.
Okay. Can you read that?
You go poo.
Oh, you go.
Well, it actually says, you go for poo. That's a real...
You go for poo, that's true.
That's a real license plate. Okay, so, guys, here it is in front of you. So you've got U at the start and O at the end.
That's a difficult.
That's
really tough,
super
right?
difficult.
Can you think of an English word?
Whoever can think of one first.
Yeah, because I need to think about it.
As you can experience, sometimes it's almost impossible. But if we can't do this one, then we'll move on to the next.
I mean, there must be a word, right? But,
You know, me and Amy are also trying to think of a word, beginning with U, ending with O.
UFO?
UFO.
Okay.
Done. Very good.
I mean, it's not really a word.
We'll accept that. We will accept that. Well done.
Let's move to the Brazilian one, because
That can give me a little bit
Kolja
of
has
chance.
a point. So this has a time for Arthur to start. So, your letters. It starts with L and ends in N.
I think I'm out.
Something Brazilian or Portuguese.
Okay, I need a second because it's not that common to end with N for us.
Yeah. You
I
should have
wonder-
picked better.
No, mate, it's
license
a
plates.
challenge. UFO is a great one. Or, because the Brazil number plates actually end with a number, maybe you can make it interesting. Can you think of a Brazilian footballer beginning with L and his number is 9? You know, I'm just being
okay.
creative. So, it starts with L, ends with 9, but really the letters are L to N.
Asking two gay guys about a Brazilian football. It's not the smartest idea.
This is too hard. I blame Nick for this.
No, this is a good challenge, but this is Arthur's chance to get back on level terms because obviously this is his country.
I'm trying really hard, but like normally the Latin language, we finish the words with vocals. So that makes
vowels.
with N, vowels, with N makes it a little bit hard.
Because, like,
But maybe Arthur can think of something in German, because that's possible.
Yeah.
okay.
In German would be listen.
That was the first one I thought about.
Then what's your point?
What does that mean?
It's reading.
Okay.
All right, so I guess that's 1-1.
Okay, we have 2 number plates left. I'm praying that Nick's got 2 good ones.
This one seems all right. So this is
Okay.
your German number plate. I'm showing it to the guys now. It begins with K, ends with T.
You really went for it.
I think I've even thought of one in German. I think I thought of a German word.
Krankenreit.
Oh.
No,
that's a last name.
That's last name.
I think that's fine, isn't it? Any word in the German language?
No,
Let's try
no.
for
Okay.
words.
Okay.
Yeah.
But sickness, Krankenheit,
Ach, Krankheit.
Krankheit.
Yeah,
Done.
that's true.
There we
He's
go,
taken
2
the lead.
points to Arthur.
Am I right in thinking Kaiserslautern? Oh no, N, not T.
Yeah.
Ah, I'm being an idiot.
What does that mean?
It's a town, isn't it?
It's a
city?
town, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But no, for some reason I thought it ended with a T. But as soon as I said it, I realised I was wrong.
Okay, final one. We're going to pick a Peruvian one that's next to us. So we're going to go with B and U.
Oh, God.
I can think of some French words. You can choose any language for this one.
I think about Brigitte, Brigitte, but that is something different, I think.
What
Blue.
does that mean?
It's like
Blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
blue.
Arthur has smashed it.
There we go.
3-1.
Congratulations. to
Congratulations.
Arthur. You have won.
I'm very
Our
jealous.
license plate game.
The last one was a little bit too dumb, but
You've done it. Well done. See, it's a good little game to pass the time. Even if it sometimes doesn't work, it still offers a bit of entertainment.
But
And-
totally, I think we're going to adopt that.
I was going to say, I think you'll end up playing this on the
Yeah.
road now.
Totally.
with the next hitchhikers, like, or you get to know one, or we stop it here, or something like that, just to scare them.
Right, let's get back to the chat about living and travelling in a camper van. So tell us your best police stories. What's happened? Have you been pulled over yet?
Yes, but before Arthur tells you the story that was, I think, most weird in Argentina, I'm telling you that we read about Bolivia, the worst shit you can read on the internet. Like
Okay.
about corrupt police, about horrible streets. It's not true. We haven't been pulled over in Bolivia at all. We've been pulled over in every country so far, not once in Bolivia, where we read the worst stuff. So that's just my little tidbit, and now Arthur can tell you the story.
I completely agree about Bolivia. And first or second day in Argentina, we just entered the country, and one police officer just stopped us and told us clearly that he could make us some trouble, and if we made us some contribution to him, he would let us pass with no problem.
Bribe, in other words.
Yeah,
So what happened?
But that normally happen in Brazil and other countries a little bit more discreet. Like, people get a little bit more of time to get to the point, and the guy was just like, or you give me money or we'll put you in trouble. And we were like, okay, let's give him money, because we were in the first days.
Yeah.
That was not cool.
But since we just entered Argentina, we only had reais, so Brazilian money, and we needed to give him reais. He was not happy about that, but that was all the money we had.
Like, I just have 20 reais here, and that's it, or it is or nothing. But
So that's like £4.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
it's something. I
It's
mean,
something.
he got a tip there for pulling you over.
Yeah. I mean, if he does that every hour, his hourly wage goes up
Yeah.
pretty significantly, I would say.
That's true. Yeah. It's a shame, but it's to be expected. But it's a shame. But good news about Bolivia, and we never drove in Bolivia, but just generally the feel about the country, I would agree, very friendly, nice people in our experience.
And talking about being pulled over by the police, we hired a car in Chile, and I got pulled over by the police.
Yes, tell us your story, Amy.
But it was probably more my fault because I was speeding, but only by like 2 miles an hour. And he was actually a really nice police officer. He just pulled us over and said, "Look, let me see your license." And then he was just like, "Can you just calm down, just go a bit slower?" And then we drove off. And then I think like a mile up the road, I forgot and I started speeding again.
Yeah, there's me. Like, I hate doing it because I sound so annoying. But I'm like, Amy, speed limit, speed limit, speed limit. I have to keep reminding you, you're going too fast, because I don't want to get pulled over. But then there's me. Like, when we got pulled over, I'm panicking, thinking, oh my god, what's going to happen? We're going to we have to bribe him. But it was completely fine. And yeah, we were lucky. He was a very nice guy.
Yeah,
But
he was.
honestly, how were you able to speed at the Atacama Desert? I think the streets were so shitty.
Oh wait, where were we? We were
Santiago.
We were near Santiago.
Okay,
we were going
it was in the... Okay.
Yeah, we were going to a place called El Yeso, which I would definitely recommend, and we'll be talking about it we spoke about it in our Chile episode. But yeah, it's just like this, like, not lagoon, what is it?
Damn.
Dam, yeah, with loads of mountains. It was beautiful. So yeah, I wanted to get there quicker.
a good solution to control that is to drive a car like ours. Like, there's no chance that we
Impossible.
are crossing the limits. Like, we're always under.
Now, do you know, is it legal and free to like park in most places around South America and sleep?
Our experience is that there were no troubles in Argentina, no troubles actually anywhere except for Chile. In Chile, at some point of the night, somebody comes, tells you, yeah, you can stay here, you can sleep here, it's no problem, but please give us money. And that was like only in Chile, unfortunately.
In Argentina, in some national parks, is also not allowed to, but then they always make like the rules a little bit clear, and then we don't stop there.
We don't have a baño, so a toilet in our camper van. So that was the problem in the national parks. If you have like a full-on motorhome with a toilet, you can stay there. But we weren't allowed because they were afraid that we might defecate somewhere.
Leave your things in places. Okay, yeah. Because the reason we ask is because we had a camper van for about 10 days in Australia, and it's illegal to just kind of go down a residential street and sleep there. So that's why we're asking, because you have to pay to stay, and that's when I think living in a camper van gets expensive, is when you have to stay in the camps where there are toilets. It's great because they have toilets and showers and electricity, but it's expensive.
That's not our trip. We didn't want to stay in camps and have everything, like all the infrastructure around it. We wanted to do exactly what we are doing. That means like stopping somewhere and sleeping there. And that, so far, it was not a problem in South America.
Time for another question, and it's from Leo, our Brazilian friend that you've actually met before. He wanted to know where, so far on your trip, where is the worst traffic in South America?
La Paz.
La Paz, yeah.
Definitely.
La Paz was horrible because I think over a distance of like 10-15 kilometer, you're actually going up 800 meters. So La Paz is like the freakiest, most awesome city, but the people don't know any rules. They're making their own rules when it comes to driving, and you as a foreigner don't know those rules. And also with a car that stops every 5 meters because it's too weak to go up the mountains, it was a challenge.
I'm actually very impressed you drove this around La Paz, because we couch surfed there and our host took us around in his car, and he had a car that was newer than this anyway, and it struggled to get up the hill. I've never known such steep hills.
Very steep. And he said, yeah, the one rule, or the one thing you have to be good at about driving in La Paz, you have to be good at hill starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are so many hills. It did look like a horrible place to drive.
Our car, unfortunately, is not good at hill starts, so we now, since La Paz actually, have a stone in the car. So every time it's a girl, turns off in the middle of a mountain, Arthur needs to get out, put the stone under the wheel. I start again, try to drive, and then Arthur catches the stone and jumps into the driving car. That's how we do it.
Oh my God.
Very modern then.
Yes.
Modern technology.
Not considering the times, then we realized that the car was with too much weight, and I just decided to jump out of the car while it was still moving, so it would not stop. That also happened like 2 or 3 times.
Definitely.
But all this stuff makes it an adventure, doesn't it?
Totally.
Yurat got stuck in mud, Yurat got stuck in sand, and was always kind of a nice experience. We always had like help with a lot of people to go out of those troubles. What is also amazing, like I think people just see these old cars and two desperate tourists there, and they say like, okay, I need to help those guys.
People are super friendly when they see you're in need, and when they see something like a campervan like we have now, we hear so many stories of people just coming, oh, I always wanted to do that too. And oh, that's always been a dream. You're living the dream. Like those are sentences you hear a lot. And then actually at some point you start to wonder, well, is it? And then you think of all the pros and cons, because there are cons. It's not just a dream life.
Yeah.
It's really hard, really tough at times. But overall, I think we made the right decision. It's very nice.
Well, it seems like you knew our next question from Instagram, because you've done a really nice segue. But this is actually a question for us. So this is from Phil in Switzerland, and he said, have we thought about overland travel before?
You definitely have, haven't you?
Absolutely. So you may have heard me say this before, but I found out that my ancestors are Romany gypsies. So they were used to travelling around in, like caravans, and the old school ones where they're kind of rounded and really colourful, antique-y wooden caravans. So yeah, I feel like it's in my blood to kind of move around anyway. But yes, I've definitely looked up those YouTube channels that you're talking about where they transform small spaces. Definitely when we get home, I wanted to build our house out of containers. So I'm really interested in small spaces and making the most, and doing clever things so that one part of the van can act as two things, like a table as well as, I don't know, the door of a wardrobe. It's really clever. But also, yeah, I do fantasize about us being on the road in a van, and I just think it's something that will come for us in a few years, really.
It probably will, and I won't fight it because I see the advantages, I see the pros. We rode with you guys yesterday to get here, and it was so much fun. It was one of the best travel days of the trip so far. I've just always thought, yeah, there are so many pros, but I've always thought there's a lot of hard work as well. What you've said, There are cons. In my head, I thought this way would actually overall be way more expensive than traditional travel like buses and hostels, but actually from what you said, I'm now thinking maybe not. Maybe it's about the same at the end of the day, especially if you sell the vehicle at the end. So yeah, I'm open to it, but I've never seriously considered it myself. I thought it'd be too much work, to be honest.
May I just say?
Yeah.
I think it's cool for a very specific amount of time. I think like the Combi Life guy who does it for years, that would not be my choice to do it for years.
Yeah, but he's been going for about 5 years, just
I think
South America, did you say?
No, to Alaska. Yeah, it's been definitely more than 2-3 years. I think it's been around 5. And that would definitely be too much, because it is hard at times. My point is, I wouldn't do it again, probably, after we sell this. But what I would love to do is something like the Mongol Rally, where you have a car and then just go. And it's a little bit more about speed, but it's also traveling. Like, it's not just a race.
Yeah.
That I would love to do again.
And Arthur, how do you feel about the Mongol Rally?
I like the idea. I think we could do it. like together we can always do it, crazy things like that. And I think even we're not sure about the destiny of Trudy right now, but even if you need to sell Trudy in the future, like in some years I would buy another car and I would do that again, not for long travels like we're doing, but for weekends or like 1 week holidays on the mountains or something like that.
I would be down for that.
Yeah. Okay, well that kind of takes us to another question from Instagram. Frosty89 also asked, what will you do with the van when your trip is finished? Now I know, like I said earlier, you've got different opinions, so what do you both think?
We do. Our goal from the beginning was, from the first beginning actually, it was to go to Mexico, but since it's really hard and really expensive to ship it from Colombia to Panama, we are no longer planning to do that. So now our plan was to sell it in Colombia. And I'm still a big fan of that idea, just because Trudy is still fine, Trudy is still good, we are still driving a lot, and we can actually sell it for, hopefully, pretty much what we spent on buying her. Arthur's opinion differs a little bit. He wants to bring it back to Brazil, and I fear a little bit that if she breaks down, we won't be able to get as much money, because we would essentially only be able to sell her for the parts. And that's a little bit my fear. And also, what do I want with a car in Brazil?
I normally don't get super attached to material things. I'm like always travel a lot just with the backpack, and it's fine. Have no house and it's fine. But after travel a little bit, after build Trudy, I'm pretty much attached to it. Like I look into all those things and think like, okay, we constructed since the beginning. We cut every single piece of wood and we built it as this. And I would like very much to be able to bring it back to Brazil, and in the future when I get to be rich, and completely renew it and send to Europe. Like that would be like my dream. But let's see. I think right now, because of the crisis in Venezuela, it makes really hard for us from Colombia bring it back to Brazil. So one option would be, I hope that the things there will get better soon. So we have like half a year into there. Or we could ship from Colombia to Brazil. That would be also super expensive. So for now, I don't know. But I continue dreaming that we can keep her.
I think you two, it's funny because you, Kolja, you're like a classic European thinking with your head about the car, and you are a classic South American thinking with your heart. You're too attached to it.
I've just had an idea that might work for both of you, so hear me out. Okay, so you could sell Trudy, okay, cry and say goodbye, but then when you get back to Europe, because you want to take her to Europe, Arthur, so when you get to Europe, you could buy another one and do that up, so you have that you haven't paid the cost to get it back, but then you also can put your love into another one.
I think so too. I think things are always just things. Like put your emotions into the work you've done, into the memories you've created, but not into a car.
Let's see. We have a lot of time until there, and maybe until there we'll be rich and we can just save her.
Exactly. That's our hope.
Exactly. When money is no object. I've got a quick question. How many times have you had to change a tyre?
None until now. Luckily.
That's amazing. Zero.
Yeah, the tires were really good. But I also have to say, when we bought her, she had like super shitty tires. We renewed all of them, so we bought new ones. So actually the tires are like, 5 months old now? So.
Yeah, I think, not that I've ever done this before, but I think that's a really good investment tip to start with new tyres.
Yeah, especially if you're going great distances.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's finish with, do you have any advice that you wish that you knew at the start?
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
No.
Take over your life.
One advice that we actually had, and we thought, stupid shit, was not from the start, but it became very important once we went up the Andes to the Atacama Desert. There's like one little screw in the motor that you can turn, and according to the amount you're turning it, the motor gets actually stronger. So you can adjust your motor to the altitude.
Oh, wow.
I did not know that either. And we heard it and we were like, I don't think that's true. I think she's just very weak. But then we drove all of the Andes like through Bolivia onto Cusco with like a super weak engine, and in Cusco we needed to change the oil, and the guy who changed the oil was like, okay, so I adjusted it a little bit for the altitude. And then since Cusco she's driving so much better, and we were like, damn it, why didn't we do it in the beginning?
Yeah, I'm surprised that like a vehicle this old has that feature. It's almost like it has cruise control. Like
It does, yeah.
Impressive.
That's a very good tip.
I have the feeling that Trudy has almost like a soul. When she doesn't want to work, she just wake up in the mornings and say like, not today.
Yeah.
Then you need to give her a little bit of time and
love.
support a little bit, and then she just
sounds
decided.
sounds like Amy.
We'll finish with the chat there, but if you want to, so you're both on YouTube separately, aren't you? In
Yes.
different languages. So tell us about that.
Yes. So basically, we are both vlogging on YouTube. I do it in German, Arthur does it in Portuguese. And yeah, that's pretty challenging, to be honest, because we are rarely doing stuff together. So it's more like two single YouTubers.
Wow, yeah, that is different. That's
Yeah.
unique. So what are the names of the channel?
So my channel is Urbane Nomade.
And my channel is Novo Nomad. So if you got curious about like see how Trudy really looks, just enter in my channel. Even if you don't speak Portuguese, there's one video just showing each single part of it, and you can like have a look and maybe get some inspirations for it. And we are both in YouTube and Instagram with the same names, like Novo Nomad, and New Nomad would be in Portuguese, and Urbane Nomade in German.
Yeah, and we both follow them from our account. So if you can't search for them and find them, then just go onto our profile and look through there.
Absolutely.
So, guys, thank you so much for picking us up in your Combi or Campervan, bringing us here to Paracas, and then coming to record with us. It's been so much fun to meet you.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. It has been really, really good. So that's it for this mini episode. We will see you guys next time on the 1st of the month for a new episode of What the Faux Travel Podcast. Don't forget, you can get in touch with the show. You can email us at whatthefauxpodcast@gmail.com. We are also on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And we are also on Patreon. For more information on all those things, you can go to our website at www.whatthefauxtravelpodcast.com.